Hey, I'm Jolt and welcome back to the Sketch Your Mind conference recordings. We're at session 7 out of 16 and this one features Dave Gray, his second talk at the conference. If you're new to the series, you'll find all the resources linked below, including the big Excalibur whiteboard where I'm collecting notes from every session. For this session, you'll also find a link to the Visual Framework store, an interactive Excalibur board I built for you with Dave's permission, where you can explore and use the framework cards yourself. If you find the visual frameworks valuable, please purchase the physical cards or poster from Dave. You'll find the link on the Excalibur board. In this talk, Dave completely reframed how I think about visual frameworks. Until now, I saw frameworks as a presentation template, something to pick when building a slide to explain an idea. Dave shows how they are something much deeper. He argues that our thinking itself is shaped by mental models, and visual frameworks are tools to help us switch between them. He introduces the idea of the framework store, where you push your cart through, pick up frameworks that resonate, and build a story around your challenge. During the session, Dave even coaches Aditi Paul, one of the participants, through a real-life situation using the method. At the end of the video, you'll hear the music I composed for Dave's session. If you'd like to support my work, you can get the conference album, join the next visual thinking workshop, grab my book, Sketch Your Mind, or try the Obsidian Excalibur plugin. All the links are in the description below.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I wonder, Jolt, would you like to tell the story of how we met? Because it has to do with visual frameworks.
Well, does it? So I mean, the simple meeting was I sent you my book, and then we connected, and then on the back of that, I approached you that I want to do a video on that and publish the visual frameworks in Excalibur so people in Obsidian can use it. By the way, on my mind map for the session, as I prepared it, I have the visual frameworks up there just to connect, and then let's see where the discussion takes us. But yeah, so that was, I think.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that a lot of people who are here have been checking out Excalibur or using it with Obsidian. So I don't know if you have a link that you can share, but as far as I don't use Excalibur that much or Obsidian, but I know that the visual frameworks are in there. So I just thought you might want to, if you have
I
a
can
link.
drop that link in. Yeah, give me a sec. I'll look that up, but I'll drop in the Excalibur link to the visual frameworks. Yes, in just 1 second.
All right. So I'm going to share a Mural link. We're going to use Mural like we did yesterday. And let's see, can bring to screen. I think this will work. Okay, so I'm gonna step away from the Sketch Your Mind Ring Central Ringmaster for a second. So first thing I want to say is when you log into Mural, if you haven't done it before, there's a bunch of buttons there. Make sure you click on enter as a visitor. You don't have to log in. You don't have to create an account. Even if you have an account, it's better if you log in as a visitor. So that's the one thing that I want you to do if you pop in here. And I'm just going to take you through a talk today. I think I'm going to disable this show cursors for now, just because I know some people are just going to be watching on their laptops or whatever, and I don't want the distraction. I have no control over the confetti, so I'm sorry if you see confetti. And if you have questions as we go and you want to just drop a sticky note and drop your question right on top of, as I'm talking, like I just did there, feel free. Because I'm happy to be interrupted as we go. And I've been really enjoying this conference so far, and I have a whole bunch of thoughts kind of coming up around visual note taking. So if you have questions about how I do that, I'm happy to answer them, even though it's not formally a part of this talk. I'm going to do this summon thing, so you can also you can follow me, but you can also skip ahead if you want, if you get bored. Visualframeworks.com is the website where you can find all the visual frameworks. They're all listed on the website there. They're all available for free. How to share my fascination? I'm not even sure why they are so fascinating for me. I'm not even sure what they are or how they work exactly. It's a area that I consider not just an area of expertise, but I have a lot of curiosity, and I'm still investigating these. I've been fascinated with visual frameworks, and I'll give you a description of what I mean by that. But I've been fascinated by them probably for at least 30 years, maybe even more. And the way that I think of them, I will describe a little bit later in this talk. But one of the things that I think is useful to think about is that everything that you think and do is based on models. A model is a different thing than a visual framework, but the visual frameworks and the models are connected in my head. But let's think about models for a second. Life is full of situations. That's life, right? You're always in a situation, one situation after another. You're walking down the street, you're having coffee, you're watching TV, you have a meaningful conversation with your friend or your significant other, you're late for something, etc. That's just life. And no two situations are exactly alike. So every time you come across a new situation, you're always comparing this new situation to something you've experienced in the past. Like I don't know if Ring Central is one of those things that a lot of people are familiar with, but it feels a little bit like it's new. It's certainly new to me, and it's new to a lot of people. And I notice people having trouble navigating it. And I think that's partly because it's new. You're always comparing new things to things you've experienced in the past. Maybe you've been to a real life conference, you've been to another kind of online event. And there's always something that is known and something that's new anytime you're walking through in these situations. So any situation that you're in, you're modeling what's going on. And the reason that you're creating these models is so you can understand, predict, influence, and control what happens. So this modeling process is continuous. It's mostly unconscious. It's automatic, happens in the background. It's not something really that we're consciously aware of most of the time. So if I were to show you these 4 pictures and say, okay, which one of these is most like how your work feels today? I don't know, Jolt, you want to just throw out a thought? If you had to pick one.
Woohoo! Pendulum.
Pendulum. Okay. See, but it wasn't that hard, was it? Because even though these things are all, I mean, probably to some degree, it's all of them. But the thing that these particular pictures have in common is we know what it feels like to push a rock uphill or a big ball up a hill. We know what it feels like for something to be, on a precarious position where it could go one way or another. We know what a pendulum feels like to swing back and forth. We know what it feels like for something to be gaining momentum as it runs down a hill. I'm starting to wonder if I should have invited everybody to join us on this. Going to be a little distracting. But let's just keep going here. I'm going to go and zigzag here. All models are partial, imperfect, and incomplete. The only perfect model of anything is the thing itself. And that's actually really useful because think about language. If every word exactly meant one thing and there was no fuzziness to it, we could never have any conversation about anything new, because all the words that we have are all referencing the things that we already know. And whenever we encounter something new, we have to use the words that we've learned, things that we already know to talk about new things. So that imperfection of a model, there's always things that overlap and always things that are hidden. So that imperfection is really important. It means there's an infinite number of ways to think about or model any new situation. Stop me if I'm going too fast on this. So if you're stuck, if you're lost, or you're feeling confused, it's probably because your model is insufficient for the situation. And that, I think, is probably the case for some people with this Ring Central tool. Like this morning, I tried to get on my iPad. There's no sound. It was really frustrating. my model was insufficient or the tool was insufficient, something. So if you're feeling lost, there's a framework for that. And I try to make as many of these. I mean, I don't think there's probably 110 or 120 visual frameworks on the website. I'm adding new ones all the time. There's no pretense that there's a complete set, or there ever will be a complete set, any more than you could have a complete catalog of all your memories. Although Jerry is doing a great job at getting close to that. So every model is going to highlight some things while hiding others. Some things that are similar between, let's say, this software that we're using and other event software, and some things that are different. So think about, this is a classic metaphor, a very famous one. The world is a stage. Shakespeare said it. So what do we mean when we say the world is a stage? It's useful. It helps us think about an aspect of the world. It's pointing us to an aspect of the world where we're actors, we're performing for each other, we are each other's audience. Those are things that a world and a stage have in common. We're not saying that the world is made out of wood, or that the world has curtains on it, right? We're saying so every model, every time you make a comparison like this, there are things that are revealed by the comparison, and there are things that are hidden. So when I designed the visual framework cards, they're not synonymous with models. They are designed to evoke a model. If you imagine your mind as a big mental library full of models, I think of the visual frameworks as kind of like the index card catalog of the library. So a visual framework card is designed to evoke a model of something that you already know. You already have probably some idea of a solar system in your head that involves gravity and orbits and things rotating around other things. The sun is the center of the solar system. The planets rotate around the sun. There are moons that rotate around the planets. You probably have some idea of what a solar system is in your head, and it can be a useful metaphor. Just like we say the world is a stage, well, we could say that this community here is like a solar system. This group that has come together for this week is like a solar system. And Zolt, you're kind of like the sun. We're all revolving around you and revolving around the software that you're using. So when I design these frameworks, I design them to offer that everyone has a label. Every single one has an image, and there are these little indicators of text that indicate the kind of sort of affordances or handles or things that you might use as kind of grappling hooks to use that model as a way to think about something. So when I say this event is like a solar system, you can picture what I mean by that. I don't mean that Jolt is literally a radioactive ball of fire, right? I mean that he's the center of gravity around which we are rotating. And that's just one way to think about this event. All problem solving, all progress, all science, all learning can be boiled down to a search for better models. And I think the visual frameworks can be super helpful for that. And I'm hoping to show you a little bit about why that is today. Here's a case study situation. I was doing some work with the bank. It was the IT department of a bank, big bank, national level bank. And they had cost overages. Their projects were taking too long and they were costing too much. And the guy, I was doing a visual thinking workshop. We were talking about frameworks. I was asking people to visualize and think about their problem. And this guy said to me, I understand the problem, Dave. I know the problem very well. I live in this problem, but I cannot think how to draw it. I don't know how to draw it. And I said to him, what if you, here's just a way to think about it. Imagine you were a chef or a sea captain. How might you think about this situation? And this was a way for me to introduce. It's kind of like in the same way that I might throw a visual framework at you. It was a way to, like the solar system. I was trying to evoke some other kind of mental models in his brain to give him a way to think differently about the problem. And you can almost do this randomly. And this was random. I don't know why I said chef or sea captain. I was just throwing out random ideas. And he came back with this really powerful description of our IT department is like a restaurant, but when people come with problems, we don't have a menu. So when people come, they just describe their problem. We are writing down all the things about their problem, and then we have to make a grocery list. We have to go out to the grocery store. We have to buy different IT tools and software to solve the problem. Everything's custom. No wonder it costs too much. And imagine if a restaurant had to do that. Every time someone came in, they just said, "Oh, I feel like a rutabaga salad today," and we had to go design it and go out and make it. We need a menu. We need a menu with some prices on it. 90% of the people who come in will be happy with the menu. If there's 10% of those people who want to order off the menu, we can go, sure, we can make something custom. But 90% of the people, we already kind of know what they want. We should be able to have menu, stock kitchen, prices, have our recipes ready to go. And the interesting thing about that is, and yes, I made a framework for that probably after this happened. I think the interesting thing about that is once he had found the restaurant as a model, the solution was obvious. And I think that's sometimes the case. And that's why how visual framers can be really useful for mapping models onto each other. Like I said, that modeling process is happening unconsciously and kind of automatically. And it's very easy to get locked into one way of thinking about a problem. By cycling through models, you can actually get, and I might actually have a thing about this where you might actually find that, if you find the right framework, the right model, the problem disappears. So I want to do an exercise with you. I want you to think of a situation in your life right now where you feel stuck or you have a problem. And if you look at this picture, the reason I put these images in here is because there's a difference between thinking about a problem. If you think about your problem as a maze, you're going to try and solve it in a different way than if you think about your problem as a puzzle or as being dug into a hole or as a tangled mess of complicated stuff. A tangle, you have to untangle it, right? A fog, you want to clear it away. A maze, you have to figure it out. A puzzle, you need to solve it. A cycle, you need to break the cycle, right? So depending on how you see the problem, you're going to have different ideas about how to solve it. And I do want to say this right now, not every problem is solvable. So we can start right there and say, I don't want to promise that you can solve any problem just by cycling through frameworks, but I think you might find that you can break out of a mode of thinking when you start cycling through models like this. So are you thinking about a problem? Jolt, they got a problem, a situation in mind? You don't have to tell me what it is.
Yeah, I definitely have
Okay.
one in mind.
All right. So now take your problem, think about it. What if you thought about your problem as a bottleneck? It's a problem of throughput. You have, like email, you have too many emails and not enough time to process. Is it a bottleneck problem? What happens when you think of it as a bottleneck? Now let's go to another one. What if you think of your problem as like an archaeological dig? You have to go digging down. You have to look through your history. You have to go back. Can you dig down to different layers of the problem? Iceberg would be another one that's similar to this. Is it a problem where you have to peel the onion? Do you have to actually kind of unravel one layer to get to the next layer to unravel the next layer, similar to the sediment thing? Is it an infinite loop? Do you find, and this is maybe this is Jolt, what you're talking about, your work feeling like a pendulum. Does it feel like you're cycling from one end of the pendulum to another and you're not really getting anywhere? You're infinitely cycling. Is it a problem that it feels like a tournament? Is it about winning? Is it about figuring out who the teams are and how to set up the brackets and what a winning condition might look like? Is it a solar system? Does it feel like there's a center of gravity that things are rotating around? Could it be a problem of momentum? You need to kind of go back and forth on the ramp before you can actually get the momentum up to escape out of the pit that you're in? Or is it simply it's a matter of courage? It requires a leap of faith where you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know how far or whether you're going to be able to make it. So this is the end of the talk part of this. I do have a picture in here just so you can show. I did make some actual physical cards. You can find those on the Visual Frameworks website. It's pretty fun. I find it very enjoyable to play with these, and we're going to do a little bit of playing with them today. I got a couple of links here. If you want to go to if you're on the mural board and you want to go to visualframeworks.com, you should be able to double click that and it'll take you there. And also, if you're interested in joining the School of the Possible, which is where we play with creative projects together and in community, you can double click there and it should take you to that. But let's pause and see if there's questions. Zsolt, I know you're monitoring the.
Yeah, so we have two questions. One from Brandy Agerback. Dave,
hi, Brandy.
Do you make a distinction between a model and a metaphor? How do they relate to each other?
Well, a metaphor is a comparison between two models. Often a model being the thing that you're experiencing now. So the most common way I think metaphors are underlying all thinking, but a metaphor is a comparison of two models. So you have the model of whatever it is you're experiencing right now, and the model from your past or your history that you're comparing it to. So a metaphor, this would be a picture of a metaphor. You're comparing two things. So like when we talked about, when I was talking about this guy here, he had the problem that he was thinking about, his IT problem, which was a bank problem, a department problem, and a restaurant. So he was comparing those two models. That I would call a metaphor. In other words, every metaphor, like I was saying before, every metaphor has things that it reveals. So world is a stage. It reveals certain things. The comparison reveals that we're always acting, that we're in performance mode, that we have audiences, that we have a relationship between actors and audience. Right now, Zsolt and I are the actors and the rest of you are the audience, and we are here together in a virtual stage environment. There's also things that are hidden because the world is not really a stage. So we're making a comparison between two things, but this is what we're doing. I would submit we're doing this all the time, constantly, that it is the essence of thinking, is comparing what we're experiencing with other things that we've experienced. There's a constant activity that's always going on, and we have a lot of choices in how we do that. That answer your question, Brandy? You want to? We can invite Brandy on the stage if you want.
Yeah, indeed. So I can enable the stage, and in the meanwhile, we have just a sec. Now I'm completely here.
Also, while we're doing questions, I would like to invite. I have a little exercise over here that I want to offer. If anyone wants to volunteer, I will take you through. We'll do a little. We can do a little fortune telling card reading. And I've got if anyone has a situation or problem and they want to volunteer and come on stage with us, I will take you through a process to help you think about your situation using the visual frameworks. We can do it together. That's an offer I'm putting out there.
Yeah, it's just a reflection on the model building, and I'm accepting Amy to join us. She'll come on in a second. And I was just trying to remember where I read it, but the whole reason we have memory is because we form memories not to reminisce about the beautiful past or the problematic past, but to build models. So our entire brain is a model building tool. And yeah, essentially these visual frameworks, I think, are
and even in social relationships, we are constantly tracking. So I have a model of what you're thinking, Zsolt, and I have a model of what you're thinking of what I'm saying or how I'm acting. And I have a model of what you're thinking about what I'm saying. And you have a model of what I'm thinking about what you're saying. And we're constantly modeling each other and our environment in order to try and figure out. And like I said, we want to control, influence, predict, have some kind of idea that we have an ability to influence what's going on around us, and modeling is the way that we make sense of that, so we can make predictions about, if I do X, what will happen. If you take your clothes off in an elevator, you probably have a model in your head of what might happen, and that's probably why you don't do it, for example.
How do you know? Yeah.
Well, and then you can also try it and see, and you can compare that to your model, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we have an interesting question comment here from
Okay.
Chris Norris, which to some extent links to this. It's a bit of a longer one. So we often hear the phrase, it's not about getting the answer, it's about finding the right question. I have thought about this for several decades now, that this is misleading. It's not about finding the right question. There's a stage before that, which is it's about finding the right representation. The right representation leads to finding the right question, which then is very powerful in finding the answer. Often, once the representation is found, the question becomes obvious, and the answer is then a question of doing the work. I think that what you're saying about models and finding a model that fits the situation is one way of finding the right representation. Do you agree?
Do I? I mean, the chicken. Did the chicken come first or the egg? Do I agree that chicken came first? No, I don't know. That's a really deep, and you've spent 30 years thinking about it, so I don't think I can answer it off the top of my head. But it sounds like a very deep, thoughtful process.
But it's very interesting. So the quote, a quote that we also bonded on was that the world is nothing until we describe it, and when we describe it, we create distinctions that govern our thoughts. That therefore we do not
I'm gonna
describe the
say I
world
don't.
we see. We see the world we describe, and I think that sort of links to
I don't
the comment.
disagree. Let me put
Yeah.
it that way. I don't disagree. Just something I want to think about. It's a very interesting thought experiment, and I love thought experiments. I do. I love. Questions to me indicate areas that you're uncertain about, and I think curiosity and questions are, for me, very generative. They they point in a direction where maybe you don't know what the right frame or model is, and they encourage an exploration of possibilities, which is why I like the idea of starting with a situation. It's called, in psychology they call it the priming effect, which is really just basically you start, if you're searching for something, if you're walking down the beach and you're kind of paying attention and looking for something, let's say you're looking for I don't know, coins, then you're gonna be more likely to notice things that are shiny, that
This
are
is
round.
why you suddenly see cars like the one you just bought on the street. It turns out
Yeah,
others
yeah,
bought it
exactly.
as well.
You just bought a red pickup, and now you notice all the red pickups everywhere. It's
Exactly. We
it's
have Amy on the stage.
Hi,
Amy, I'm
Amy.
going to bring you off mute. Let's hope it works. And yeah, Amy, can you hear us? Does your mic work?
Yes, I'm just getting familiar with the app here, and I want to listen in. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be on stage or not.
Well, I mean, you requested to join the stage, so if you want to ask a question, this is your opportunity. If you don't have a question, then happy to have talked.
Oh no, I was just trying to join the session. So sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
Does anybody want to actually do a little fortune telling, kind of like a card reading. I'll be the fortune teller. Anyone want to bring a problem or a challenge onto the stage or volunteer? Otherwise, we can simply keep doing questions. That's fine too.
Yeah, there's someone, Klaus is asking to join. It usually takes
All right.
half a minute for this to go through, but in the meantime, maybe we can look at Aditi has a question here, or Paul Aditi. I coach clients who have to prove to the US immigration officer that they are talented enough to be permanent residents of the US. 90% of the time, the clients are extremely technical. However, the US immigration officer is non-technical person, sometimes without a college degree. How can I train my clients to communicate their work through visual frameworks that A, simplifies their work without B, diminishing the seriousness of their work, especially when placed within the context of an immigration case?
This is I'm going to invite you to Paul, if you want to just follow up with me for a one-on-one conversation. There's no answer that just flows out of me right off the bat. I will say that a lot of times, the reason that I made a card deck, and let's see, I got some pictures of using the card deck, is that it can be helpful just to throw out a bunch of cards on a table and ask people to pick a card that represents the situation that they're thinking about or dealing with. And if you have 3 or 4 people, you think, because there's a tendency to think, because we're in the same place doing the same thing, we're all in the meeting together, that we all have the same perception about what we're talking about. But the fact is that unconscious background automatic modeling process is different for everybody, because everybody's had a different life. Everyone's had different experiences. Everybody has different memories and associations that they bring to everything. And so often what I find is that when you just throw a bunch of framework cards on the table like this, and you ask people, okay, pick one that represents what you're feeling right now or what you're thinking about right now, a lot of things come into the conversation that would not typically come up. People start talking about emotional things. If you can just imagine, if you pick up a clock, or you pick up a picture of a bridge, or a hole or a mess, you're going to have a lot of interesting conversations about how people see things and how people are understanding a situation or a problem or what's going on. And by making comparisons, you can do a lot of interesting sense making. Why did you pick this? Why do you think of this as a journey? And why does someone else decide that it feels like a maze? And why does someone else feel like this is a big canyon or a gap, and someone else might feel like it's a mountain climbing expedition? What is it that you're seeing in the situation? And it's a great way to triangulate many different perspectives on something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
By the way, Aditi is here on the stage with us, Dave. So I know you don't see the screen.
Hi,
But,
Dave.
Hi.
Thank you so much for bringing me. I'm like
Yeah.
taking a shot at this technology because I have no idea how this is
Well,
working.
do you want us to try and kind of work through a situation with you
I'd
right
love
now?
that. I'd love
Okay,
that. Yeah,
great.
but thank you so much for
All
this
right.
because I'll tell you the context of the question, because when you're talking about frameworks, it is to make something amorphous accessible to somebody else, and there is an inherent bias that my clients have, and so do a lot of like PhD type folks.
Okay. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Aditi.
Aditi. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell me anything about the problem. I don't want to
Oh,
know
okay.
anything
All
about
right.
it. All right.
Perfect.
So just give me a name. Give me the question, or like describe in one sentence what
Mm-hmm.
it is you want to explore, and we'll go through this process, and then we'll have a conversation at the other end. How's that?
So I'll just say what my problem is as a coach.
Sure.
Okay. How do you help people communicate that they're an expert to a lay audience without dumbing their expertise down?
Okay. All right. Is that fair the way I just wrote it there?
How do you help people communicate their expertise to a leader? Yes.
Okay. So we'll start there. And now what I want you to do is just focus your attention and your mind on that problem, that
Mhm.
situation. Think
Mhm.
about it. So that's priming, just like if you had a grocery list and you're walking into the grocery store, right? This is the problem that we want to think about. And I don't want you to think too much with your conscious brain. Just let your gut guide you. And I'm going to take you through this a little store, just like we're going through the grocery store, and you're going to pick out the frameworks just that appeal to you. Okay. And you don't
Okay.
even have to tell me why. Just we're going to start here, and I just want you to pick it. Tell me which ones feel just at your gut level feel connected to this situation.
Okay, so the visual that I see on your screen is too small, so I am on the mural.co
Okay. Yep.
thing.
So we're in this first section here, predicaments.
Do you just want me to focus on predicaments?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Just
perfect.
pick the ones that resonate for you.
Okay. Can I have 60 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't want you to think too hard about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I think gap is what's making intuitive sense to me.
Okay. So just imagine like we're in the grocery store. You got an unlimited budget. You can have as many of these as you want. You don't have to just have one. You can have anything that you like
Hmm.
on this shelf. You can tell me that you want.
Can I go to processes, or I'm still looking at predicaments?
Okay. You don't have it. You don't want any more of those?
No, I can.
Yeah.
um,
You can have as many as you want.
I'm thinking gap. I'm thinking crossroads,
Okay. Oops.
and I'm also thinking juggling, because these are
All
all
right. I
people.
don't need to know why. Don't tell me
Okay,
why.
okay. I'm not
All
gonna.
right. Now let's do processes. What do you see here that you like?
Okay. Oh, geez. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, another 60 seconds.
I'm going to pull these all to the front because they're.
Mm.
Okay. Anything in processes that calls out to you?
I'm thinking pendulum and switch.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, we'll keep going. How about under the structures here? Anything calling your name?
For somebody who does not really do well with like not knowing what's coming, this is surprisingly very satisfying to me.
It's what?
It's satisfying to me. I'm like, ooh,
Okay, yeah, I'm telling you not to think. How about that? How does that feel?
stay for the grand reveal. Oh my gosh. Structures. Okay. Another 60 seconds. DNA for sure. How do we view menu?
Menu.
No. No, I'm looking at cutaway view.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I don't
right.
know what
Anything else?
exploded view means. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's just like the cut. It's like the instruction diagram where you're pulling things apart, showing how they go together. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How
I would
about
actually,
yeah?
I would not put DNA, because I'm trying to focus on the problem. So I'm not going to do DNA, because DNA was bringing back something else that I think about. So we can delete.
I'm gonna leave DNA down there.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Okay. Like
Approach.
again, don't just trust your instincts. You don't have to even be consciously connecting them to the problem in any way. Just things that feel like they appeal to you right now, you're thinking about.
Okay.
You're already focused on the problem. So your unconscious is doing a lot more work than you think right now.
Okay. Approach. Should I go for approaches now?
Yeah. Anything from there?
Um, I'm thinking. I'm not thinking. Deep dive
Good. I don't want you to think.
and
Okay.
prism.
Prism. Okay. Anything else here?
Maybe gears too. Like I'm trying to
Okay.
think again how
Yep.
everything works together.
Yep. Don't worry. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, the titles here at the top, they're kind of, they're not really exact in any way. That they're just kind of a convenient way to put them in categories. Like, you know, you have produce in the grocery store, you have the deli section, you have your crackers and your cereal. I'm not asking you to think about how these things are connected yet.
Okay. Okay.
So just to think about anything that, just like you have a grocery card in the grocery store, just anything off the shelf that you think, yeah, looks.
This feels very irresponsible. See, like I'm the person who makes lists before going to grocery store. Else I just get all the junk.
Yeah, you're going to the grocery store today without a list. You just have a kind of an idea that you're going to have a party, right? And you want
Yeah.
to pick the stuff that you like.
Good God. Okay. Bless me. Analysis and decision making flowchart. Flowchart. I'm a
Flowchart. Okay.
big fan of flowchart. Um, um, concept map.
Okay. Where's that one?
Last row.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And these are just bonus.
Okay.
Oops. Sorry about that.
I would put zoom in, zoom out.
Okay. Anything else from this?
No, I think that's all.
Okay. All right. So now we have this collection.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take all these things up here and we're going to make them into a little grid. Are you on the mural now with me?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm turning the cursors back on, everybody. So get ready because it's going to be crazy. All right. So come on up here with me and see if you can can you organize these so they kind of, can you use these to kind of make sense of your problem? Like maybe put them into some kind of sequence or some kind of structure that helps you explain the situation better. Like imagine this was imagine you're going to give a slide presentation and these are your slides. How might you think about organizing them or putting them?
Okay. Is there a gap? Your juggler. Okay. Can I get like 120 seconds to do this?
Yeah, take your time. Yeah, but you can also talk out loud about what you're thinking as you're doing this. That might be helpful to people.
Okay, so the way that I am thinking about this, the first one, the gap, is me and the immigration officer. This is what I do. This is where you are. There's a communication gap between me and you that I need to fill. That's what's being indicated by the gap. Juggling is me in my own life where I'm trying to do my job, I'm trying to take care of my family, and I have to do this immigration thing because immigration.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking in terms of crossroads where at my job I need to be the expert with expert knowledge, but to get that immigration benefit, I need to make my knowledge accessible. Like I need to come off as a people's person. So I'm at a crossroads, kind of like, and that goes back to juggling as well, where in the like, if I'm thinking about, I also think in terms of visual aids, more memes than metaphors, where in the morning I am Clark Kent and by night I'm Superman, where Clark Kent is at his job, the Poindexter, and at night I'm trying to be the superhero who's trying to translate their knowledge for the common public. So I'm always at a crossroads is what the thing is, and that kind of also, like, my mind is always oscillating between common knowledge, expert knowledge. So how do I bridge that gap? um, the best thing that I tell people is to help someone. You don't have to be an expert, but you need to create a sense of wonder about your job. So, for example, in my mind, this is the reason why I picked the zoom in, zoom out, where if it snows, Dave, where are you based?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so it snows over there?
Sometimes, yeah,
Okay.
not a lot, but we get it sometimes.
So I'm in New Jersey, so we get plowed with snow. But
Mhm.
when you see the snow fall, it's very like it's a sheet of white. There is nothing extraordinary about it. But then when you zoom in, way in, you see that one snowflake, and that one snowflake has such an intricate design. So that's how I approach people to show their expertise. That to the common public, you're just a guy who's a data scientist at Uber. Does not really show what your true expertise is. So you really need to get people zoomed in. You need to take them on a deeper dive. You need to give the cutaway view of, like, this is what I do. Like, look into the snowflake of my work,
Mm.
and that creates a sense of wonder. um, and like concept map, cutaway view, exploded view, gears, all of this kind of like is in that zone of, like, me helping people understand. Okay, give them a deeper view of your work, show how your work moves other gears to show the trickle down effect of your work. So all of this is clustered together, but this I will put with this as well, crossroads and switch, where you're always kind of like dilly-dallying between how do I simplify my work to how do I be an expert at my job. So I'm going to stop there. That's why I was like,
Yeah. Well, so
preempting.
thank you, Aditi, for doing this and for being so brave and getting up in front of everybody.
I'm sweating.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was really useful for me to watch you think through this problem, and I like to think of what part of what we're doing with visual thinking is we're making the invisible visible, right? We're
Right.
pulling things that are already, these things were already in your head.
Mm-hmm.
But laying them out. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about how does it feel to take your ideas, without thinking too hard about it, to grab some images that feel like they might be connected and to start using those as let's say tools for helping you think with. How does that feel?
Mm. Um, I will give it up to the person whose Instagram story led me to this conference. His name is Yanis Ozolins. I think he's also one of the speakers, and I am taking one of his courses. And Dave, what happened when you made me do this exercise is you got me into the realm that I struggle to get on the most, which is the feeling dimension. I'm always
Mm,
stuck in the thinking dimension.
mm,
So when I am doing this visual storytelling, which Yanis also encourages, like, talk about what's the feeling. And on the left side of the panel is how my clients are feeling. That, man, there is a huge chasm of communication gap between me and this officer. I need this officer to get who I am, to get this immigration benefit so that I don't live precariously in the US. I feel like I'm juggling so many things. I'm always having to make a decision. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? And my brain is always oscillating between, am I the expert or am I a novice? So, like, that was very interesting to me to see that how much I dialed in on the feeling aspect of my clients. And the right side is the thinking aspect, that, okay, how do I communicate my work in a tangible way?
yeah. Well, thank you so much. I know we're getting close to the end, and I do want to make a little bit of space here for feedback, because I always do this. And so if you're on the mural board, or even if you're not on, if you could hop on quickly, I'll just drop the note in the chat once again. I would love to get your thoughts, and I can do the summon thing so you don't have to find your way on the board. Just something that you liked about today, something that you wish, maybe you wish for yourself, or you wish for this community, or you wish for me to do in future sessions that I didn't do today, something that you wonder, any ahas or takeaways. I do invite anyone who wants to follow up with me. I'm going to be sticking around for the rest of the conference. I know we have one other person up on the stage while people are giving feedback. Zsolt, did you want to? Klaus, hello.
Hey guys. Yeah, I mean, in that case, I'm just gonna give my feedback verbally now. So
Sure.
this was an awesome experience, and even like, yeah, I mean, Aditi, you raised your hand first, so your problem was first, perfectly fine. It was a pleasure to see you feeling your way through it, and also amazingly facilitated by you, Dave. So I really enjoyed that, and I will do my experiments with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was modeling it as a tool. There are lots of other ways that you can use these cards. I mean, I think of them like just like a Lego blocks, or like I know Zsolt talks about Legos a lot. There's lots of different ways that you can play with them. One that I found really interesting, as a friend of mine did, was he had a group of people in a team, in a company, and in order for them to kind of get oriented and dialed into how they all saw the problem, he put all 100 cards on the table, and he said, take away half the cards that don't connect to the problem. It was almost like a magic trick. And then he said, okay, now take away half again. And he kept having them take half away until they got down to about 5 or 6, and they started arguing. So by just using the process of elimination, like, what is it not about our problem, he was able to dial in people very, very quickly. And I will say, I do want to share, if you do go to the Visual Frameworks website and you scroll down to the bottom of it, and I'll put this in the chat as well, there is I did make a little digital assets toolkit that you can buy. It's like $20, but it's got it has a PDF. If it has a PDF of the card deck, so you can print it out for yourself. It also has a mural board with all the cards on the mural board, a link to the mural board, a template that you can use if you want to do this. Use Mural to do this. So there is a pretty inexpensive way. You don't have to necessarily spend $100+ on the physical card deck if that's feels too pricey for you. But the card deck is pretty nice, I have to say. I like it. I use it all the time. But yeah, I appreciate all of your time today, and I'm happy to hang out and have more conversations with anybody if you want to. I'm also constantly adding new visual frameworks, so you can subscribe for updates if you want, and you'll get it whenever I do a new card. You'll get it in your inbox.
Thank you, Dave.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
This is
Do we have
really
any
amazing.
unanswered questions?
Oh boy. Yes, we do have. So there's one from Johan. What differences in the overall process and the outcomes have you observed when people use the visual frameworks by themselves with one other person to bounce questions inside off, or in collaborative team situations?
Yeah, I actually let me share. Stop sharing and share the actual website, Visual Frameworks website, for a second, because I think I can do this. because as an individual, I find it very useful to just kind of scroll around in here, and like I can, I've created a bunch of tags for these. So if there are questions that you're trying to explore, you just click on the tags and you can be like, oh, okay, what are the risks? And it'll pop up a bunch of things that are related to risk, or if you want to talk about when, there's some things that are related to time. And also, because they're not easily categorized, I think of them as kind of like I think of these categories kind of like Netflix. You could have you might be looking for a comedy, you might be looking for a horror show, you might be looking for a comedy, horror, sci-fi, and so a lot of these kind of categories overlap. Some of them are very abstract, like this one. But one of the things I did on the website, these are not descriptions, are not on the cards themselves, but each card has a little description, and at the bottom it has this kind of Amazon thing. People who like this card, you might also like. So if you liked this routine card, which is kind of like a string of pearls as a path, maybe you might like Journey. And if you like Journey, because it's, there's something similar about that that's maybe hard to define, but if you like that, maybe you might like Milestones. These are kind of similar. So as an individual, Yakin, I would say you might find it valuable to explore the website, whereas when you're with a larger group, it's more about how you bring the group together. With a larger group, you might do something on a mural board like we were doing, or you might, if you're in a physical environment, you might want to have some actual physical cards. There's also a poster. So, some people, really like just having the poster on their wall, which is, it's just kind of it's a big poster with 100 visual frameworks on it. Some people just like having that, and, they're working on a problem. They just walk up to the poster and look at it. I don't know if I don't know if that's helpful or if that answers your question, but those are the things that come to mind.
Yeah. By the way, we also have Christina joined us on the stage. So if you have still a minute for a discussion with Christina, I can bring her up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to mention to Chris, who's talked about the restaurant example, I would say one thing that I worked in a restaurant, and one of the nice things about restaurants are really useful as a model for thinking about strategy or business or anything, because it's something that most people are familiar with. Like most people know the difference between a drive-through restaurant and a cafeteria and a sit-down fancy restaurant, or a hotel bar. They all have different connotations and associations. So I think restaurants are really, really useful as metaphor, because a restaurant you can understand as a business. There's the places that the customer has access to and how far back they can see into the kitchen. I think there's a lot of power to a restaurant metaphor. So I'm just going to throw that out as for Chris there.
Okay, Christina.
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, wow. We can.
Okay, great. My question on my impulse is about why I wanted to reach to you also. That is about it's about how we are speaking here about the great insights as of what we already in the English speaking community already enriched. And the great question is how we can commute, how can we make the connection to the other languages, cultures, to apply to this framework, so that we can achieve together the common goals. But also in the question, sorry that I maybe I'm not explaining me. I was waiting a long time. I already lost the half of your speech. Sorry for it because of my kids, but also this is about how we grow the great intercultural community. No, also not because we are all speaking English nowadays, but I heard also in all the communications, in all the sessions that I was assisted today, a lot of the data quality data, also we have to clarify data and so on. And this is very, very important. And this is about that we have to be very clear about data and about the how we clarify the message what we want to send our clients or everyone.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand if there's a question there, or I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
it's a challenge. I mean, visual thinking is definitely something that connects. I mean, I think it was Otto Neurath who said that words divide and pictures connect. And I think that, but I also think that every language and every culture and has its own set of frameworks and models and experiences, just like every person has their own set of experiences and models. And my hope is that people see what I'm doing as inspiration, and they don't feel like a lot like this is some kind of complete set of Legos. You know, for me, I believe it's kind of just a starting point. And I think what I have noticed is that people, one way to start developing your own personal set of these or something that you can share is just start by copying. They're kind of designed to be relatively easy to copy. So just, and they are exactly the same. The cards are exactly the same size as index cards. They're rounded corner, but they're exactly the same size. So if you wanted to start a collection, you could start with the card deck that I made, but then you could start adding.
I'm agree. I'm completely agree with you. But what I'm observing nowadays that we are developing in completely different directions. Do you know what I meaning? So we are all completely also understanding what is going on with the AI, and there are a lot of going on.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I don't know if you heard me say earlier, not all problems are solvable, period, and certainly not all problems are solvable with visual thinking. And I think you're hitting on something that's maybe, I mean, it's a big open question. I think that all of us have, including me. I don't have answers to those questions.
Okay, so sorry, but I think
sorry,
I'm
just for 1 second. What I am saying is just I want to bring this understanding that we are all different and we need some very robust concept for all of languages concepts, and then we can understand each other abroad, no? So that where we spread our concepts. So when we are all speaking in this conference in English language, it's not meaning that we are all English speaking as native. So this is just my suggestion for you, and yeah, sorry for.
Yeah, no worries. My thinking is I think we are different in every possible way. And that was a comment I heard from Tiago Forte, and it has stayed with me. He said that on the surface we look different, so we are short,
Complete.
tall, thin, or wide. But if you look inside, we are even more different. And yes, language is a different.
When we are looking
And I
inside,
think
we are not so different. So
yeah,
we are all are mostly the same. So
yeah,
this is
we are same
what
in the
it's
sense
about.
that we are different.
Yeah, completely. So this is about what is also this is what I also also my so what I was
Yeah.
so pretending to send you. Thank you.
Hey,
Sorry.
thank you. Yeah, we need to close up. Thank you, Christina and Dave. Amazing. I learned so much today. Um, this was fantastic. Thank you for sharing this. And yeah, I think with this we close for today. And looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow we have an amazing day. So we had Aditi mention Yanis, so he's going to be on tomorrow. We're going to start with Brandy. It's going to be an amazing day. So come tomorrow as well, and let's continue the party. Thank you all.
Dave Gray's a possibilitarian, breaks the fog in the maze. 30 years charting pathways through the corporate craze. From game storming glory to the new school of the possible. When complexity hits and the big questions feel impassable, you've got a tangled up problem, a vision that's hard to see. You need a system for thought, a key to clarity. It starts small, a simple doodle on an index card size, a pictorial model that's sketched before your very eyes. It's intentionally sketchy, inviting you to the ride. Embrace the ambiguity and step to the adjacent side. Yeah, we're talking visual frameworks, a sketchable structure to finally take the lead. A simple design that plants a necessary seed. It's a pattern language to clarify thinking, discover options and align faster. The pattern that connects the ultimate mastery. Yeah. You see the iceberg tip, but the root cause is still below. You need a funnel for choices. You need to disrupt the flow. Spot the pattern that's moving like a solar system round. Or trace the journey where the next milestone can be found. A two matrix to find the key position. From quick scans to decisions, a focus sharp precision. It starts small, a simple doodle on an index card size, a pictorial model that's sketched before your very eyes. It's intentionally sketchy, inviting you to the ride. Embrace the ambiguity and step to the adjacent side. Yeah, we're talking visual frameworks, a sketchable structure to finally take the lead. A simple design that plants a necessary seed. It's a pattern language to clarify thinking, discover options and align faster. The pattern that connects the ultimate mastery. Yeah. sketch to a full visual explanation. Building blocks of knowledge for your whole organization. It's Gregory Bateson's Ghost, the pattern that connects.